Well, we did it. 100% of FlatOut 2. And that mainly came after I noticed that I actually did have to win the remaining stunt events in order for the triple-digit figures to well and truly be there. But now that we have reached that, I think what we are going to do to send off this game is we are going to look at some bonus vehicles. And yes, just before some of you ask, I do have enough money to buy the game's Halo car. And before we do anything else, that is what I am going to do first. I'm just going to head over to the street car dealership and buy Road King. Just because it's this game's Halo car, and also because, well, it's basically just a totem to say that I have the game's Halo car. That's the only reason I'm doing that. Okay. Enough about that being said, let's actually get on with what we're really here to do, which is to look at some cheat codes. As that is what we so often do to close off these playthroughs. So, I'm gonna head over to options. And, oh, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna have to rephrase that scene a bit. And since we now have the Road King, we are now going to look at some cheat codes. Because that is how I so often end a lot of my playthroughs. And I figured I might as well do that again. Because they're available, and also because there's an enter code option. Aside from the credits and also the making of this game. I may or may not show that off at some point in the future, but what's important is the here and now, and what we are doing in the here and now is entering some cheat codes. So the first one I am going to show you, according to IGN, which is precisely where I am getting my codes from and not Game FAQs. It is going to be I hope I spelled that right. I think it's spelled GVPix. That's what it is. So this code basically unlocks all the cars, and it also gives us a 1 million credit bonus. However, since we have unlocked all the cars in the game, I think we just get a 1 million credit bonus. And if I go back and check now, I should have that bonus. And yes, I do. I am at 1 million credits dead. So that is our first one. You can also type in the cheat code give cash, and basically you will still get 1 million credits. Although one thing I am curious to find out is to see if by putting this in, it will give me more money. I know this might sound like me being a little petty, but I just want to check to see if I can actually get maybe 2 million credits. I think that is worth looking at. IMO. And no, it doesn't. Well, it was worth a shot. But whatever, it's fine. So we've done that. And now we are going to focus on the game's bonus vehicles. Because we already have all the cars and all the tracks. In order to unlock all the tracks, you basically just have to type in give all. And then you have pretty much unlocked every single track in this game. So that's what give all does. And now we are going to focus on the bonus vehicles we get. And where I will start off with the top one, which says El Pueblo, which will unlock the, according to IGN, this unlocks El Diablo. And if I just go and look, it's probably going to be single race if it's going to be anywhere. And in terms of where I go, sure, we'll go to Forest. And why not? And if I just check on the vehicle selection, I think we should have El Diablo. I'm just doing this solely as a checkup. Oh, we already have all the cars. I guess it must have been because of the unlock all cars cheat code that must have been the case. So we've got Pimpster, Flatmobile, Mob Car, School Bus, Rocket. I'm going to assume Rocket must be El Diablo, and Truck. Clearly the strongest in both strength and weight, but is also pretty weak in top speed, and is also pretty effective in everything else. So I'm going to assume Rocket must be El Diablo then. But anyway, these are the other cars we get. And Flatmobile, I'm pretty sure this is their mock-up of the Batmobile, because I can immediately tell when this is a similar grand Baroque display design of the 60s Batmobile, or something quite similar to that anyway. But anyway, I might as well showcase the other cheat codes whilst I'm at it, because, well, that's what I'm here to do. So I think the Rocket must be the El Diablo. And aside from that, we also have this. Giev car, please. And this unlocks the school bus. We also have Raiders, which unlocks the big rig, also known as the truck. And yes, it is quite literally called Raiders. Oh, there is a cheat code for the Rocket. Well, might as well show that off. Just because it's something else on the roster. Kalja Copper. And now we just have 2 codes left, and then I'm basically going to drive each of these vehicles because I can. So we got Rutto, which unlocks the Pimpster, and last but not least, we have got the cheat code for the Flatmobile, which is Watkins. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's pronounced Watkins. And that unlocks the Flatmobile. I'm going to assume there must be a misnomer with the whole El Diablo cheat code, unless that's only available in the dealership. I think it is worth a look, just to make sure that I haven't done anything wrong. Okay, not there. The race car shop, maybe? Nope, nothing there either. And the streetcar shop. Nope. Well, I guess the El Diablo must be something else. But anyway. Yeah, we'll start this off with a single event. And let's head to... Oh, I could maybe head to Crash Alley to open this up. Actually, no. Let's start this off with the Derby first. We'll head to... Yeah, let's go to Derby Bowl 3. And for this, I am going to use... Let's open this up with the school bus. Just because I want to. Oh yeah, by the way, you can actually change the colour of your car if you go up and down on the... if you press the up and down D-pad buttons. As I am showcasing to you now. It's basically just up and down on the D-pad buttons, and then, well, there you are. That's how you change the colour of your car in this game. And that's pretty much every car, if I'm not mistaken, that has multiple different colour schemes. So it looks like the El Diablo is not available to us. So you know what? We're going to start this off using the school bus. Just as a way to open up our bonus vehicle showcase. And then once I am done here, I can officially end this game. Oh, and I'm stuck. And immediately I get wrecked just to get out. And things at the moment are not going well. I figured the best way to get this to get this vehicle to show itself is basically to do a demolition derby, if you will. That seems like the best way to really showcase the strengths of this car, or of this ride I should say. I think it's probably the best place to start. And I get tipped over by Jack. However, I think that's fine, because well, I'll admit this thing does have a weakness in acceleration. That is where I think this vehicle suffers. And I get a power hit on Ray, and I think I also wrecked Ray if I'm not mistaken. So that's already 2 dead. And I have been hit a lot in this thing. Maybe too much, from what I can see. I need to get my hit on Frank. Okay, yep, I am in the center of the mess again. I cannot move anywhere. And now I have wrecked Frank. I think Sally also went out, if I'm not mistaken, so that just leaves 4 of us. 4 left in the demolition derby. Who will survive? I have a pretty good chance of surviving because my health is still pretty much intact compared to Jason and Katie, and here's to hoping I can keep it that way. And I wrecked Katie, so that just leaves me and Jason. And I'm stuck again. Oh, so now the game decides to reset me. Yeah, I'll admit, the reset mechanism does feel delayed at times. That's not a major problem, but it can be a problem from time to time. When you know you're low on health and you're just trying to get it done. And thankfully I do get it done. And unsurprisingly, I also won the event. Got 73 points for crashing, and I ultimately wrecked 4 cars and got a bonus of 15 points, amounting to a total of 108. Winning by 42 over Frank and 57 over Jason. And then behind the top 3 is the rest of the field, who were basically well behind us. But anyway, that's now the school bus showcased. So, let's now go and showcase the other vehicles we have. So 12 slams, 4 power hits, 1 super flip, 2 blast outs, and 4 wrecked. I think that's probably the best way to showcase the school bus from what I can see. And now, yeah, we'll do a single event for the next one. And we will go... Let's head to... Yeah, we'll do Crash Alley. And have to go all the way along here to find the bonus vehicles. I have showcased the school bus. Hey, and we can change the vinyl as well. That's cool. Anyway, I think what we're going to showcase next is the Pimpster. Because I think that's a good idea. Honestly, I quite like that design. Yes, we're definitely using that for this one. I think I actually did get a thumbnail shot of a gangster car one time. And a little bit slow off the launch, however that's fine. I should be able to work my way forwards. Right, okay. Let's actually try this again, except for saying this time we do not get absolutely pummeled by the AI like we were before. Because I just kept getting pancaked by the AI the way things were going before. So I think it's fair to say the Pimpster is clearly not made for demolition style short track racing. So we're gonna head somewhere else. Somewhere that's a bit more in its field. That's why we're gonna head to a racetrack. And we're gonna go to... yeah, let's do River Bay Circuit 2. For the gangster. Because why not? Yeah, I'm strongly convinced in saying the Pimpster is not made for racing at all. Because I am still getting my ass kicked. And if it's not by the AI, then it's almost certainly by the objects that seem to more or less compress themselves under the car. And ultimately makes the suspension overreact. Something that I have noticed does happen a lot in this game. And it's also very easy for certain cars to just straight up destroy themselves. Because they do that. And again. And again. Although autosave by this point basically was becoming a feature in all video games. There are certain ones where I really don't appreciate the option. Where I really don't appreciate not being able to turn off autosave. Because I'll admit, it does make the loading times just a little bit longer. And I think if it was actually turned off, then I could definitely see this, in essence, being a game that would have loaded quicker than it actually does. I mean, I understand what autosave is there to do. It's basically there to constantly save the game. That's pretty much what it always does, but if I did have the option to turn off autosave, then this would probably be the time to do it. Although I think after a certain point, basically every video game has autosave, and it becomes virtually impossible to disable. And once again, I am still getting pummeled by the AI. Yep, I am definitely getting pummeled by the AI. This car is not made for racing. It just isn't. Well, at least I get revenge on Frank. Well, looks like 4th is probably the best I can hope for at this point. Because I think the top 3... yeah, they're out of the question from what I can see. If I can manage a finish of 4th, then I should be okay. I don't think I'm going to get any higher than 4th at this point. I'm pretty sure that whatever ship I had for scoring 3rd, that pretty much sailed a long time ago at this point. So it looks like 4th is going to be the best I can do here. And considering how slow this car is compared to the AI, that's actually not too bad. Sure, it may not be the win, but it's still a top 4. And as long as you finish in the top half of the field, then I think it's fine. Anyway, there's all your results, as Jack very much dominated that race. Okay, back to the main menu again, and after struggling to actually give some sort of tribute run to the Pimpster, that is now done. And I think all we have left is either another 2 or 3 vehicles. Whatever. Top drivers. Moving on. And I think for our next one, yeah, we'll head to the city for this one. And let's go to... actually no, let's head to Canal instead. I don't want this to take too long. And we'll head to... yeah, we'll do Water Canal 3. And where this time we are going to use the Flatmobile. Once I can find it. Oh yeah, there is the mob car as well. I think that must be what they meant by when they said El Diablo. Oh, I get it now. So there's colour schemes without the flame vinyls, and then there's colour schemes with the flame vinyls. Okay, that makes sense. Anyway, we're now using Flatmobile, a vehicle that we can actually change the colour of. And I'm going to drive this thing in silver. So let's go for 4 laps around Water Canal 3. And then once we're done with this, we can then showcase the remaining vehicles we need to showcase. And, oh my god. This thing just took off like a rocket. It's quite literally a rocket car is what it is. I did not think this thing was going to be this fast. That is unbelievable. I'm pretty sure there would be no recovery from that if that happened in real life. I would literally be dead. Oh my god, I just passed 300 in this thing. This thing is literally a torpedo because of how fast it is. It is quite literally a torpedo because of just how fast it is. And KT is gone. Now we just have... Ray is also gone. So it looks like it's going to be another one of those days. And for some reason my guy launched from the car. Wonder how fast this car can go. Goes as high up as 323 miles an hour. Still, I gotta be honest. This thing is almost like a heat-seeking missile because of how fast it is. And yep, I'm on fire. Yep, this is the most damage I have on my car of all time. And yep, I am wrecked. Well, first time in this game I have actually had a DNF. But you know what? I think this car is a little too fast for me. Even though I did set the fastest lap by quite some margin over the next best guy, I really don't feel like I can drive this thing again. Because if I do, then it might kill me. Because it basically killed me before. And no one is going to wreck into me because my car is on the pavement. Well, a showcase is a showcase. Maybe not the best way to do it, but it's still a showcase nonetheless. Sure, whatever. And now we have a few more to go. And you know what? Let's do a single event this time. And we're gonna head to... Sure, let's do Figure of 8 too. I think the Flatmobile is a bit too fast for me. That's why it's not really worth trying again, in my opinion. Because I want a car that's quick, but I also want a car that I can grip. And that's where the mob car comes in. I think this must be what they meant by when they said El Diablo. They must have meant the mob car. Is what me thinks. Yeah, this'll do. So let's go for 4 laps around Figure of 8 2. And then after this, I don't really need to showcase the rocket, because I've already used the rocket enough times up to this point of the game to understand it. I very much understand what the rocket does. I don't need to give it a showcase. Can I at least get one race where I'm not asking myself to be absolutely pummeled to death? I feel like that's probably too much to ask at this point, because I know I'm probably just going to get pummeled to death. Because that's just what the AI seems to be doing at the moment. They just seem to be punching me to death, almost. as much as I am trying to do whatever it takes to make sure I do not get pummeled to death. Which at this point is harder than you think. But I'm still here to fight on. Because that is what I do. Or at least trying to do. And that was a wreck. And Katie did avoid the carnage. And I think I can see what's happening here with the whole suspension compression. Because these cars do not like to have their suspensions compressed with objects underneath them. It really does just put them in those superfluous areas of danger where they don't really need to be. You know what, I'll take third. Considering the way that race started and the way I was just really not getting a run going, I will take third for this one. And so, all we have left, I think, are 2 vehicles we need to showcase. And you know what? I think the best way to showcase one of them is at a derby. So this time, let's head to the skyscraper for our next one. And I will use... let's see. So I've used the Pimpster, the Flatmobile, the mob car, the school bus, Rocket. And we can actually change the colour of Rocket whilst we're here. That's nice. So all we have left to use is the truck. You know what? Yes. I am going to use the truck. And this is how we will end off this game. As I have pretty much showcased to you all of this game's bonus non-unlockable vehicles from the career mode. And my car is on top of Katie's. Can I please get off? Well, not like that, but I suppose it works. And Katie is gone. I think it was Frank who probably wrecked her. I think it was probably Frank who wrecked Katie. And I only get a slam on him. Unfortunate. And I am getting bullied right now. Yeah, I had to reset my car there, or else I would have been pummeled again. precisely what I wouldn't have wanted at this stage. And I am still getting wrecked. Fuck you, Frank. You son of a bitch. I will make sure you are gone. I'm coming for you, Frank. You are not finished with me yet. I'm coming for you. Huh. And I wind up wrecking Jason. That's nice. As I get a big hit on Sally. I'm now at the top ahead of Frank. That's the way the scoreboard looks. And my car is heavily damaged again. I think I wrecked both Sophia and Frank in that instance. And now, the only one who's left is Sally. Let's try and see if we can do to her what we've done to everyone else, which is basically whoop their ass. And she's in a vulnerable position. And there we go. I have pretty much won this now. The way things are looking, and she's gone. Okay. And now, I'm going to get a thumbnail of this thing. I think that first shot might be the best shot you're gonna get of this thing, because the rest of it, well, it's just carnage and chaos, basically. You've heard me say this a few times before, but if you want to change the colour of the vehicle you're using, then basically all you need to do is just press the up and down D-pad buttons in the dealership, and then you can basically just change the colour of your car, whichever one it is you use. But anyway, yeah. Even though I will say this game does have its fair share of issues, I still really love this game. Because there's just something about this game that really did make me fall in love. And it's not just because of the fact that you're basically just being paid to quite literally cause as much destruction as possible, but it's also because you're actually getting around to just enjoying the game. I really do think that all in all, this is a really good game. I think I'll take this up to the bit where I wrecked Frank, and then once I am done with that, that's when I'll stop recording my thumbnail shots, as I get double doinked by Sophia and Sally. I think that was the instance where I wrecked Frank. Well, this probably is the instance where I wrecked Sally anyway, so yeah, I'll watch this to the end. It only seems appropriate. And there we go. That's now the end of this game. And here are your derby results. 104 points to me, 59 points to Frank, and 52 points to Sally, with 38 to Sophia. And pretty close battle for 4th in the end, but Sophia takes the 4th spot over Ray and Jack, and then at the back we had Jason and Katie. And so, there we go. That was the truck. And officially, that is now this game pretty much done. So those are my stats. 9 slams, 7 power hits, 1 super flip, 2 blast outs, and 5 cars wrecked. Nice. And now, I'm going to show my cars one more time. The Road King is just here for display, but I used a total of 11 cars in the end of this game, as I used the Roma, the Banger, the Splitter, Venom, Mad Rash, Fortune, the Lantus, Insetta, Sparrowhawk, Canyon, and last but not least, the Sunray. And just as a bonus display, we have the Road King. I only really bought this car for display reasons, so if you're asking me the reason why I bought it, well, it was for that. And whatever. And now, I think I'm going to head back to the profile screen, because I figure that is where it's at. So in terms of our career mode, we have done all 27 cups in this game, along with all 27 side events that come with them. And we've also done all 4 Grand Finals cups as well. And in terms of my overall stats, we've got 1 million credits, 100% game progression, we've passed all 31 cups, unlocked all 34 cars in the career mode. Our current class is the Street class, and our current car is Road King. And ultimately, I think this is a good place to end this game. And so, there we go. That was FlatOut 2. So, first of all, heading into this game, I really wasn't expecting much. I did hear that this game was well received, and I think it also received critical acclaim as well, because of just how good this game really is. And I think both Empire and Bugbear, they both did a great job of making sure that they took the momentum from what worked in the first game and then basically improved on it further with this game. Because can you really think of a racing game soundtrack that has the likes of Rob Zombie, Wolfmother, Papa Roach, and Megadeth all in the same soundtrack? You would honestly be very hard pressed to find another video game soundtrack that has all of those artists. And that's basically what this game does. And aside from that, of course, I think it does a really good job with the destruction physics, and it fills out on that key thing that this game is practically synonymous with. And yeah, sure, there were elements of destruction in the first game as well, but this one takes it to a whole nother level. I would honestly argue the destruction model of this game is somewhat similar to that of Burnout 3, except for saying that, unlike Burnout 3, the destruction model is nowhere near as enormous. It still gives off its fair share of explosions, but I can assure you that Burnout 3 is very much bigger when it comes to the elemental destruction. And I can also say that this game does have similarities to Dirt 2 as well, because aside from you doing plenty of asphalt racing and, well, obviously dirt and gravel racing, even though both of those are technically the same thing, I can understand why some people practically would compare this game to both of those, because the similarities are there. And I should also mention that this game does have plenty of those asphalt and gravel style autocross courses that you also see a lot. Now, one thing I wish they could have actually brought back to this game is driving in the snow, because that was one thing the first game had, and well, sadly this one doesn't, unfortunately. And I rather liked driving in the snow, but I suspect the reason why they got rid of driving in the snow is, well, because this game is mainly focused on racing in asphalt and, well, dirt essentially. Another thing that I was a little bit sad about was the fact that they got rid of the option to switch between automatic and manual transmission. Now, I understand why they did this, because, well, the idea of this game is that it is meant to be simplified, but yeah, I actually prefer using manual transmission, because I often prefer to see just how many revs I can really get out of the cars I'm driving. And I think that is something that, if possible, for the next game, should be taken into account. Even though a lot of people basically say that FlatOut Ultimate Carnage basically is an updated version of FlatOut 2, essentially. Or that's what most people claim anyway. But aside from that, I think the driving's fun, and I can also say that if racing is not your thing, then there's also the side events that you can do with the absolutely insane stunts, where you're basically just, well, launching your driver into whatever sports activity it is you're doing. And whilst I can say some of those were a lot of fun, I can also say that certain ones were definitely harder than others. And I'll admit, it was a bit stressful to try and get the gold on all of them, because there are certain stunt events in this game that really do not want to be golded unless you can quite literally come out with perfection. And eventually I did manage to give off enough perfection to actually get it done. But it was far from easy to get those golds. And this probably is something that I am used to, but either way, point is, they were very hard to do. So I don't recommend you getting gold on all the stunt events if you can help it. I only did it because I wanted to get the triple digit figures, but personally, I don't recommend it. I also think in terms of the physics, there were definitely points where, from handling physics, there were moments where objects would often get caught under the car, and I did also notice that unless I had some of the best parts available on whatever cars I used, they were actually capable of causing my car to flip a few times. And I can definitely say they were violent flips, because once you know the suspension is compressed from the objects in front of you, you practically have little to no control over the car when you hit those at high speed. And even aside from that, you also get the synonymous ragdoll physics that you get with your avatar when you're basically just, hitting certain objects and walls from awkward angles. It basically does cause your driver to launch from your car. In other words, eject your driver from the car and then basically just fall on the ground. Well, basically like a ragdoll, essentially. Or just a dummy. Whatever your preference is. But aside from all those things, and probably a few other thoughts that I don't think I can really get out right now, I still think this is a really good, if not great, racing game. I have thoroughly enjoyed playing this game from start to finish, and this is only the second game I have completed this year. The first one, of course, was, Need for Speed Most Wanted, but yeah, I had a great time playing this game, and I totally think you should check it out. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. So, FlatOut 2 is done. And all I can say now is a big thank you to everyone for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more from this channel, and also to help the YouTube algorithm, because I figure I am in an appropriate position to say that now. And I will see you all in whatever it is I decide to do next. So until then, this is Jordan Mustang 87 signing off and saying peace out.